Bravo, bravo, bravo to Tupac Shakur and the Outlawz. In 1999, they sent a song called Dear Mr. President. Now, Pac quote, Dear Mr. President, tell me what to do. People in the streets acting more fools, send more troops. Now, let's fast forward to 2025. Now, what Donald Trump doing? He's sending all these troops out in the streets because he claimed they're acting a fool and violence, violence, violence. Chicago, DC, Baltimore, LA. Should I say more? Now it's kind of weird that Tennessee, Baton Rouge, and some of them were not deployed in states that had actual high crime. But we ain't gonna talk about politics about that. I want to address updated version to Dear Mr. President. Dear Mr. President, while you in the UK playing golf with the king, I got some questions to ask you. Not only for myself, but from people across the board that voted for you. Of course, I didn't vote for you because I don't like you. It's not about me liking you or disliking you. It's about what's going on back home. And have you addressed anything that's going back home? Nope, you sure haven't. So, I got good news for you, Mr. President, about the Nobel Peace Prize. I've been digging into that, and I got the envelope in my hand. That would come at the end of the letter. Dear Mr. President, farmers have been wondering why they want to file bankruptcy. Why these tariffs are killing their livelihood. What are you going to do about farming? The farmers are needing help. I talked to a farmer the other day. He was asking, will these tariffs be lifted? I'm hurting. My family is scraping for food. I had no answer for him. The only thing I can say is look up the word tariffs and get back with me. Mr. President, my next question to you, this is for the women. If you care about women so much that voted for you, just release the Epstein files. If you didn't do anything, then just release the files. Come on, give us the goods. If you really care about women, but here's the thing though, there's some videos with interviews saying grabbing women by the, I'm not gonna say that because I'm not trying to offend anybody here. Then clear your name. And if you truly care about women, Mr. President, why are you not listening to them? Why are you not listening to the victims that this stuff happened to? Nope, you're too busy out there cleaning your name. Dear Mr. President, I got another question for you. And this is representing to the military. Why are we getting deployed to some of these cities where they have their own National Guard? Why are we getting deployed to these cities where governors have their own stuff under control? And why are we going representing you who calls us suckers and losers? Dear Mr. President, on that note, if we're such suckers and losers, when we pass, why is your name on our certificates of honor? But wait, that's hypocrisy because the men who died and served in the military are men of honor. You are men of dishonor. Another question. Dear Mr. President, when food prices are going down, I go to the supermarket every day and prices are going up and up and up and up. I don't see no relief. I have to make a choice of putting gas in my car or having something to eat. So, dear Mr. President, now, I remember George Floyd, who died back in May of 2020, which was May 25th. So, my question to you, Mr. President, why did you dismiss the investigation of the murder of George Floyd, but when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, you want to have a moment of silence, have politics brought into football, and you trying to do have a mass investigation and pinning everything on the left, saying they did it when all the intel didn't come out. And in fact, dear Mr. President, your FBI director, Kash Patel, can't catch COVID, let alone catch the right guy. The first person they caught was a 7-year-old man. Later on, we found out there was some naughty stuff on the laptop, but he got arrested. But Kash Patel didn't catch him. He turned himself in. So, Mr. President, let me ask you a question. How are you going to have an FBI director who can't catch a criminal, let alone a cold, to be an FBI director? You have to have experience. You have to have intel. Kash Patel don't have no intel. He don't have common sense to ask the right questions. Dear Mr. President, back to politics in the NFL. I remember Kaepernick, who took a knee, and then he got blackballed. Then you got Charlie Kirk, who died. I'm going to tell you, Mr. President, a life is a life, and death is not a hoax. You claim the Epstein files is a hoax, But when it comes to life and death, Mr. President, that's not a hoax. Granted, I didn't agree with everything Charlie Kirk, let me stand correct. Charlie Kirk said. Him passing was wrong. But, dear Mr. President, I got another question for you. Since I interrupted myself on this point, I thought this is supposed to be the United States of America, not the divided states in America. I thought we're supposed to come together in time of crisis and embrace our neighbors, not to hate our neighbors, because in the Bible it says, love thy enemies like you love thyself. Well, Mr. President, newsflash, I guess you don't love yourself because you're pitting us against each other. I remember back in 9/11, when stuff fell apart, everyone came together with the World Trade Center. But when it comes to Charlie Kirk, there ain't no togetherness. Nah, because you're too busy forcing your agenda to quiet people and force in your views. There's two sides of a story, not one, two sides to a narrative. Dear Mr. President, question for you. Now, you talk about freedom of speech. Okay. When it's your freedom of speech, it's okay. You could talk your mess, your lies, your disinformation, but when someone fact check you want to quiet them. Now, why you want to quiet people when people try to correct your behavior? But then again, the answer is you are a narc. Yeah, I said it, a narc. I could call you something else, but I ain't gonna do that because I don't want your dog Pam Biden to come to my house knocking at my door. Not this time. You're a narcissist. You will not take responsibility for your own actions. And when the spotlight is off on you, you go unhinged. So, dear Mr. President, I got a question for you. If Charlie Kirk was your boy, your homie, your dog, tell me why you skip this candlelight vigilance and go play golf. And you talk about Obama playing golf? You play more golf than Obama did. Huh? But here's the thing. Have respect for the dead, Mr. President. If Charlie Kirk was your boy, then you can always golf another day. Which, right in the 9 months of your presidency, you play more golf than actually do your job. Charlie, if one of my peeps got killed, I freeze everything on my calendar that day. Up on that jet, I'm gone. I'm gonna pay my respects. That's the question of the day. Where are your respects? Where is the balls and tenacity to unify the people instead of saying us versus them? Dear Mr. President, who's truly the enemy of the state? Has the people protest because they're not happy with your policies? They're not happy with you? Are they the enemies? Or the people Jan Sixers who committed violent acts at the Capitol? Who's the true enemy of the state? But you pardon the ones who want to turn democracy into anarchy. What that says about you? What it says about your character? Or do you got character? So, dear Mr. President, I don't want to bore you to death because I know you want to know who won the Nobel Peace Prize. And so I'm getting to that point, but there's a few more questions I got to ask you. Dear Mr. President, why you have all these departments dismantled? Because didn't Jesus said we're supposed to help those in need? Now, as I went back and looked at your inauguration, there's something that kind of triggered something in my head, Mr. President. Someone had a saying about if you put ants in a jar, if you put red ants in a jar, black ants in a jar, and not shake them, they live in peace and harmony. But if you have an agitator, aka a jar shaker that shakes the jar up, the ants get agitated. They wanna fight each other, blaming who shook the dang on jar. Now, I was going back on that, and I saw 3 people, plus you, because you're a jar shaker yourself, with your rhetoric and your tone violence, which I look under Reagan. There was unification. There was the Brady Bill for gun violence. But we've been having all these mass shootings. All we get is your grievances and how you praise Jimmy Kimmel getting fired. Praise that Colbert got fired. But we didn't do anything about gun violence. Charlie Kirk's supposed to be your boy. Where's the legislation or the cut down on the gun violence? That's a question we need to come to, Mr. President. Dear Mr. President, why? In the times that we're supposed to look towards leadership, there's a void. Your absence. You're off to a golf game. Dear Mr. President, when it comes to intel, our mission before engaging, we collect. We do stakes or stakeouts. We do not fire upon the target until target's confirmed, and we do not fire upon the target unless fired upon. We don't blow up the alleged target, which that Venezuela mess, well, that was pretty bad, and we're gonna pay for that one. So, Mr. President, my question to you is, where is your humanity? Do you have a soul? Because look at all these people. You have one of your own people on Fox and Friends. I'm surprised he didn't get corrected on his behavior. He said homeless people deserve to be injected because they're homeless. Well, dear Mr. President, if I'm homeless today or tomorrow, should I suffer the same fate because I'm homeless? And the question is that should be asked, why am I homeless? Is it I'm homeless because my own doing, or am I homeless because your policies and your tariffs and only 22,000 jobs placed on the market? Now, okay. The winner of the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 goes to God said no, sir. Oh, I know that was going to set you off, so I had to say that. But on that note, Mr. President, think about George Floyd, Kyle Kaepernick, and all those issues we haven't contended with. Dear Mr. President, also think about your track record when it came to political violence. Political violence happened mostly in your 45th and your 47th term. So, dear Mr. President, next time, before you overact, think before you send more troops.